And joining us now is Kellon Nixon, who attended yesterday's protest rally with his son. Kellon, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you being here. Let's talk a little bit about the protest that you attended.
It's Kellon.
Kellon. I'm sorry, Kellon. I mispronounced your name. I'm sorry.
Right.
Thank you. Talk about how the protest was going before this happened. Why you came to protest and what was happening before those shootings erupted.
Well, I came to protest because I wanted to have a voice amongst those who couldn't speak for themselves, for those who passed recently. As far as the march and the rally, it was peaceful, very peaceful. Again, I say the people were peaceful, the police officers were peaceful, and up until the end. And I hated for it to end in that manner, because that was not what it was supposed to be.
And if you could, you know, and I know this has been a really horrific experience for you, sort of describe what unfolded, what you saw last night as that horror broke out.
Well, luckily, I believe by the grace of God, I decided to leave just a few seconds early, you know, maybe about 45 seconds, a minute early. And as I was crossing the street to leave, the shots began to ring out. I saw exactly what you described. I saw horror. I saw, you know, people running. I saw police just as afraid as any protester or any rallier was. We were all afraid. We were all trying to live. That's what I saw. I heard shots. I didn't see a shooter, and I just saw mayhem.
And did you have the sense, as you said, seeing this mayhem take place, that there was any particular target? Did you feel that, in a sense, everyone there was a target, that the protesters themselves also could be targets of those gunshots?
To be honest with you, I didn't have time to think of that. I had just the time to think about protecting my son's life and my own life in that time. And to be honest, I feel ashamed now that was all I could do and that was all I could think about. But, you know, in times like that's your first instinct.
Yeah, no, Kellon, as dad, I think you did exactly the right thing. I want to just ask you sort of about some of the commentary that we've heard. Thankfully, not most of the commentary, but some of the commentary that we've heard about what happened in Dallas has tried to vilify the Black Lives Movement writ large for what happened, even though, as you said, you were in the crowd. The people who were protesting and marching were just as much at risk of that shooter as the ultimate targets, the police. What do you say to people who try to blame Black Lives Matter as a movement for this antagonism toward police?
I say that that's a blatant lie. I hate the fact that any individual that was a part of the organization of this event last night would ever be considered a part of what took place last night. What really took place last night is what's been taking place across America forever, and that's hatred. You know, it wasn't Black Lives Matter, it wasn't police, it wasn't any of those things. It was pure hatred. And until we resolve our hate issue, then we'll continue to see these things.
And you talked about bringing your son to that protest. Can you tell us, what message were you hoping to convey to your little boy by bringing him to that protest? To you, what is the point of these marches?
To me, the point is to shed light in darkness. You know, we're the light of the world. We're the salt of the earth. Stand up for me, son. We're the salt of the earth. And if we don't expose the light, then it'll only get darker, then it'll only become more dim. And so I wanted him to see that he can have an impact and that he can have a voice.
Yeah, well, I think that you did that, sir, and I'm glad that you and your son were safe. Kellon Nixon, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, can I say one thing?
Yes, sir.
Can I say one thing? Hey, Caitlin. Hey, Judah. Hey, Mercy. Hey, Katie. I just couldn't get out of here without saying hi to my children and my wife. They've been cheering for me all day. Thank you guys for allowing me to be on here. And I just want to say this last thing. A lot of people want me to hate. A lot of people want me to come on and hate. They want me to say kill, kill, kill. I've been getting these messages on social media. But I just want to continue to spread the message of love. I want to continue to tell us to love one another, to love your neighbor as yourself, to love in the traffic, to love on your job, to love on social media. Everywhere you can, love. We got to make our love louder than their hate. And that's the only way that we're going to have any kind of change. Well, and I thank you guys for having me on.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you were here, Kellon Nixon. You're a good dad and you're a good guy. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. All right. We are keeping an eye on some of the massive protests happening around the country tonight.